everybody. Welcome to the Ask Julie Ryan Show. I'm Julie, your host, and I'm so delighted you could join us this week. My intention in doing this show is to provide information, insight, and comfort to people all over the world by helping to answer life's unanswerable questions. It is December 22nd. I have my Santa in his sleigh brooch on for those of you that are listening and not watching on YouTube. And countdown has begun. Most of America, for those of you that are listening outside of America, most of America is either in or about to be in a deep freeze for Christmas this year. Here in Sweet Home, Alabama, I was out late this afternoon cutting greens out of my garden to use to decorate my Christmas table because it was 55 this afternoon. It's going to be 12 tonight. So I thought, well, I better go get that done. Not to mention all my camellias are going to get frozen. So I cut all the blooms off and brought them in and put them in vases so that we could enjoy them. So everybody stay warm and I hope that your power stays on and your heat stays on, and it just makes it a little bit more merry with us coming into Christmas. Couple of housekeeping things. Number one, next Tuesday on the 27th of December is going to be Ask Julie Ryan Live. That's the monthly get-together that I started recently, and it's a blast. It's like a slumber party on Zoom. It goes from 8 to 10 Eastern, and it's people call in and they join, and we do healings and we talk to deceased loved ones, and it's everything that I do on this show, but it's way more relaxed, and everybody participates in the healings, and we have a discussion, and it's just so much fun. So if you'd like to join us, you need a little pep after the holiday, just go to AskJulieRyan.com/live, AskJulieRyan.com/live, and I hope you can join us. It's the last two have really been terrific, and some really interesting healings happen. It's not as rushed, and we've had angels come in, and it really some fantastic different scenarios have taken place. With all of us, all that energy together, I think is what really ramps it up. Secondly, Angel Messages for Truth. My fourth children's book in the Angel Messages series is available. You can get it off my website, AskJulieRyan.com. You can also get it on Amazon. So if you're looking for a fun last minute gift, you can get that, or a gift to give in the new year to somebody that's little, either a child or a grandchild, or I have a lot of adults that say they bought it for themselves. So I hope you enjoy Angel Messages for Truth. The illustrations are really darling, and the message is very clear and concise, and if it's understandable for a 3-year-old, I think you'll understand it as well. Okay, let's go to the phones, and our first caller is Sue. Let's go to Sue. Hi, Sue.
Hi, Julie. How are you?
I'm well. How are you doing?
Fine, thanks.
Terrific. Happy holidays.
From Florida.
Happy
holidays to you, too.
Well, thanks. You guys are supposed to get a little chilly down there, too.
Yes. I'm in the northeast corner, Jacksonville area, and, it's going to get cold tonight.
Yeah. But, just put an extra blanket on the bed and you'll be fine. We'll all survive.
That's right.
I always think on these cold nights, my first job out of school, Sue, was in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. And I grew up in Ohio, so we had snow and cold weather in Ohio, but not like South Dakota, for heaven's sakes. And I remember I was selling hospital supplies. And I remember that one of my hospitals in my territory was in a little town called De Smet, South Dakota. And it's where Little House on the Prairie actually took place. It's where Laura Ingalls Wilder grew up. And every time I went there, especially in the winter, I thought, oh my goodness, how did these people do this in covered wagons and log cabins? I lived in a condo building with a heated driveway because the parking was underneath, and they had to do that to try and keep the ice off of it so we could get in and out of the garage.
That's right.
But I thought, how did these people do this? And so we need to remember them, and not to mention the Native Americans and others that were living in teepees and other structures outside when it was 12 below zero. So anyways.
I know. It's unbelievable when you think about it.
I know. You in Florida and me in Alabama, where people are boo-hooing about the cold. I'm thinking, oh, please, get a grip. Oh, goodness. Well, do you have a question for me, Sue?
Well, I wanted to talk to you about my son-in-law, Paul.
Okay.
He has a tumor on his back that developed when he was in college. And he is now in a wheelchair. He has permanent mobility from the waist up, but he can't walk. The last time he actually walked was when he walked my daughter down the aisle. Oh, and I'm hoping you can do a scan and maybe send some of your woohoo, whatever, dippity-doo.
Yeah.
See if we can help him, do something to help him. Or see if there's something that a doctor can do.
Right. What I'm going to do is I'm going to connect to you first, Sue, and then from you to your son-in-law. What's his name? Paul. You said Paul, right?
Paul. Yes.
Paul.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So here we go. How this works for those of you that are first-time listeners, I raise my vibrational level to the level of spirit because we're all spirits attached to a body having a human experience. And when we're attached to a body, we vibrate more slowly simply because the body has mass. Now, I learned how to do all this woo-woo stuff. I wasn't born with dead people chasing me, or if I did, I didn't know it, let alone what I would have done with that information, Sue. So I'm going to watch a laser beam come from my body here in Birmingham. It's going to hook into you down in Florida and from you to Paul. And then I'm going to ask his permission if I can scan him and do a healing on him. If he says yes, I will. If he says no, I won't. Simply because I believe it's a conflict of interest and it's just an invasion of privacy if a person doesn't want me to scan them. And so I can, but I won't. It's just an ethical thing with me. And what's going to happen is some will be identified and then there'll be some type of healing. And I'm very descriptive in my healings because if you can envision them, then that's going to help integrate it into his body. Or for instance, if I'm working on you, it'll help integrate it into your body. So you're going to be my assistant here working on Paul this evening.
Okay.
So here we go. Here comes my laser beam from Sweet Home, Alabama, heading to you down in Florida. All right, got Paul. Paul, I'm talking to Sue. Is it okay if I scan you? He's saying yes. Okay. Did you set that up? Did you prep him?
Yeah. Well, I actually spoke to my daughter who made sure he said yes.
Okay. Good. Great. Yeah. Pillow talk, right? Okay. All right. So I'm shooting energy from his feet up through the top of his head. I'm looking at a hologram of him from behind, Sue. I see a tumor. It looks like it's on his spine, but it looks like it bulges out to the left from what I'm seeing when I'm looking at him from behind. It's pretty good size. So let's see if we can encapsulate it, and then we're going to remove it and we'll use stem cell energy to regenerate his spine. And then in the meantime, we're going to do a DNA healing on him. And that's going to help take his recipe for how the cells are to behave back to a normal recipe, for lack of a better word. So here we go. All right. Encapsulating the tumor. Do you remember those cooking bags they used to have? I don't know if they still make them, where my mom used to cook meat and turkeys and stuff, and I'm probably not the healthiest, but, easy cleanup.
Right.
That's what it looks like.
Now thinking about it.
Yeah, there's a bag that goes around it that's kind of a plastic material. It's not plastic, but it's a membrane. It reminds me of really thin, stretchy saran wrap. And I always encapsulate tumors because we don't want any of those cells getting distributed anywhere. So got that. It looks benign to me. It does not look malignant. Is that what they're saying?
No, it's not.
It's not.
That's exactly right.
Okay. Yeah. It just looks like pink tissue. So got that. All right. Removed it. Stem cell energy coming in Stem cell energy looks like a light amber colored gel, has sparkles in it because it's woo-woo, and it reminds me of Dippity-Doo hair gel. You alluded to that earlier. It just has a watery consistency to it. So that's there. There's a vortex spinning above it that is recreating his spinal cord tissue. All right. Now, let's do a DNA healing. There are 7 strands that have come out of an X chromosome for him, Sue, and they look like pieces of paper that you'd see inside a fortune cookie with a fortune written on it. DNA, as I mentioned, is the recipe that tells the cells how to behave. I'm watching the letters that are on a strand of DNA that's a compilation of 4 letters, A, T, C, G, and they represent nucleic acids. And one strand can have 100,000 letters on it, can have 1 billion letters on it. I'm watching them get resequenced back to a normal recipe, if you will. Imagine playing Scrabble in warp speed. And that's what I'm watching happen. So once the strand is reconfigured, it snaps back into the X chromosome. You know, go back to your grade school science lessons. Boys have an X and a Y and girls have 2 X's. So I always see DNA come out of an X chromosome. So 2 strands have gone in. We've got 2 more to go. The stem cell energy, I think, is really fascinating. So is the DNA, but the stem cell really fascinates me because back to your grade school science lessons again, we learned every cell has a nucleus. Every nucleus is surrounded by cytoplasm. Cytoplasm's a watery gel, like Dippity-Doo. And our bodies have a centrifugal force that spins in them, and it causes the body to have cells divide and replicate to the tune of billions of them a day. So what I believe I'm watching with these stem cell healings is what our bodies do on their own. I'm just watching it in warp speed. So got that. All right. DNA is done. Got that. And now there's imagine a jolt of energy that's going from his feet up through the top of his head. I'm looking at his spine to be sure that everything's in place. I see some little holes in it. So I'm going to apply some more stem cell energy on there. Another vortex. Imagine if you're making a straw and the straw has a couple of little holes in it. We don't want any leaking. So got that going in.
Right.
Okay. All right. Hope that helps. And
thank you. Thank you so much.
You are so welcome. Thanks for calling. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays.
Merry Christmas.
Okay. Bye,
Take
Sue.
Care. Thank you. Merry
Bye-bye.
Christmas. Bye-bye.
Stay with us, everybody. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll get some more callers on. You're listening to the Ask Julie Ryan Show. Welcome back. We've got Kim up next. Hi, Kim.
Hi, Julie. Thanks for taking my call.
You're welcome. How are you this evening?
Doing good. I'm calling from Indianapolis, Indiana.
Okay, terrific. You guys got the deep freeze on the way too, right? Starting tonight?
Oh, yeah. It's here.
Oh, it's here already. Did you get snow?
Yep. We've got snow.
Oh, not too much though, hopefully.
Hopefully not. I'm just scared of the ice more than anything.
Yeah, exactly. Well, with it being so cold, the snow will stay for Christmas so Santa can make it. I remember being a little kid and thinking we would just fret if we weren't going to get snow. But how is Santa going to come if we don't have snow? Somehow he managed to come anyways. So, well, you got a question for me, Kim?
Yes, I'm concerned about my sister's health. She has failing kidneys and just not sure what's going on. The doctor's only given her water pills to help release the retaining water, but nothing else so far.
Okay, what's her name and where does she live?
She's in Indianapolis. Well, her name's Kathy.
Okay, all right. Okay, let me see if I can get her on my radar, and we'll ask her if she wants me to scan her. And if she does, then I will. If she doesn't, then we'll talk to her spirit and get some information that way. How about that? So here we go. I'm heading up to you. Comes my laser beam. as I like to say, from Sweet Home, Alabama, up to the Hoosier State. All right, got you. Going from you to Kathy. Got Kathy. Kathy, I'm talking to Kim. She wants me to scan you energetically. Would that be okay with you? She's saying yes. Did you set that up?
Yay. No.
Did you? You didn't? Well, good. Then we lucked out on that. Okay. All right. So what I'm doing is I'm shooting energy from her feet up through the top of her head. What are her symptoms, Kim?
Well, she's retaining a lot of water. She's diabetic. So they believe it's like the kidneys are just failing.
Okay. All right. What I saw was her kidneys get squeezed, kind of like a hot water bottle. You know, when the old-fashioned hot water bottles, we could fill them with water, and then you'd squeeze them to get the water out. You'd unplug them, and then you could squeeze them to get all the water out. That's what I watched happen. She's type 2 diabetic, it looks like to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. How long has she been being treated for that?
It's hard to say because she's one not to go to the doctor, so she's probably just recently, maybe in the last 4 years, started taking medication for it.
Yeah. So much of that can be healed with diet, really. That is the number one thing. It's not druggable, but it's foodable. How about that for a term? There's a book that I'm reading right now called Metabolic, and it's by a doctor who is a physician, and he was a professor and researcher at University of San Francisco Medical School. And he talks a lot about what happens, especially with diabetics, and how it can really all be reversed with diet. So how is her diet?
Probably.
Are you around her enough to? Not the best. Yeah. Yeah. So you
may
really
lost her appetite lately.
You may want to get that book for her, or get a book. Okay. There's another book called Why We Get Sick by Ben Bikman, Bikman, and he's an endocrinologist that works at Brigham Young University. And it's really, these two books are very understandable for the non-scientific mind, and they really help people understand what's going on in their bodies as far as organs not working well, retaining water, things like that. She's in her body. She's not dying at the moment. Kidneys are just retaining water. They don't even look diseased to me. She's just retaining water. So I would encourage her to read those books and get some information. Number one thing she can do is just eat low on the food chain, Kim. If God made it, eat it. If man made it in a factory, have her do her best to avoid it, because anything processed is going to absorb like sugar, and it's going to cause inflammation. And when the body's inflamed, it retains water because it's part of the immune response. So that's what you can do for her. I would get her those books and see if you can help her by educating her on what's happening.
Well, that's cool. Thank you.
Yeah. You are so welcome. Merry Christmas, happy holidays, Happy New Year, all that jazz. Hope you enjoy your holiday.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, Merry Christmas.
Bye.
You too.
Bye-bye. Okay, let's go to Lori next. Hi, Lori.
Hi.
How you doing?
I can't hear you without the speaker.
Can you turn your phone up?
Yeah.
Okay.
You're very low. I'll try to play along.
All right. Where are you located?
Jersey, by the Jersey Shore.
Oh, great. Okay. Well, you got a question for me?
I've had tick infections. In November, I developed a new thing of, I woke up in my lower back, neck, shoulders, tops of my legs, very stiff and painful, hard to move. during the course of the day, I can get it to calm down. But when I go to sleep, whatever sleep I can get, I usually wake up too early and the pain is back again.
Oh, no. Okay.
I'm wondering if you could do some energy work.
Sure. Yeah. Have you been diagnosed with Lyme?
The first go round in 1988, I went to several doctors, and finally, since my brain was involved, I asked for the IV Receptin, but they said, let's try oral antibiotics for 4 months. And so, yes. And I've had gut issues ever since.
Yeah. Okay. I was afraid of that. All right. Let me get you on my radar and let's see what's going on. Here comes my laser beam from Sweet Home, Alabama, heading up to you in Jersey. All right. Got you. Shooting energy from your feet up through top of your head. You've got mold in your body. Did you have a water leak? Did you have damage from the hurricane when it came in? Okay. Have you had your home remediated?
It was the house I used to live in. It was
okay.
Real bad.
Yeah. All right. So you're not in there now.
I had that on top of everything.
Yeah.
No.
Okay. It's interesting, Lori, because I'm sorry, say that again.
I've been in this house for years, but I got more tick bites and more infections since I moved here.
Okay. All right. Oftentimes, Lyme, even if there are tick bites, Lyme has a mold component, and that's what really sets you over the edge, is the mold. So what I'm doing is I'm energetically clearing out the mold out of your system. And then, and a couple of things that you can do. Activated charcoal works really well to help clear mold out. Have you used some of that? Are you familiar with that?
I've read in books, like if the cat eats something you should give it to him, but you take capsules or?
Yeah, it's capsules. It's capsules, but don't take it with any medicine or vitamins because it'll just absorb it and it won't work. So that'll work. The other thing is I'm gonna give you a suggestion of doing a gut biome test, which is a fancy name for a poop test. If you go to my website, askjulieryan.com, have you done that already?
I can't afford it right now.
Okay.
I've heard you speak of it, yeah.
Yeah, it's about $100. And so anybody that's listening, if you want a link, it's for a little bit of a discount. Just go to askjulieryan.com, go to the Ask Julie button and just say, hey, I'd love the gut biome link, and we'll send it off to you. I would suggest that. Something else that you can do too, Lori, is I would do an internet search, type in Dave Asprey, Asprey.
Yeah,
Dave.
Right.
Dave Asprey, mold. He is an expert on mold and how to get mold out of the body because he had it as a child, and it really caused a lot of problems for him. So that with your gut issues, in the meantime, for your gut, until you can get that test run, just stay low on the food chain. If God made it, eat it. If man made it in a factory, do your best to avoid it. Yeast, you have yeast overgrowth. I'm clearing that out right now out of your system while we're chatting. The way that this works is I'm watching a healing in my head. I'm getting information downloaded into my head. I call that divine downloads. And then I'm talking to you. So good thing we're girls. We can multitask. It's one of our superpowers as females. So I'm watching that happen, getting the yeast out of your system. That's from the antibiotics and also from the mold. The leaky gut, have you ever heard that term?
I was going to email you about that.
Yeah, leaky gut. You've got what's called leaky gut.
I've heard of it.
What happens is there's inflammation in the gut, and there's these little separations that happen in the intestinal wall, Lori, and then microscopic particles of food and toxins from the intestines, which is the sewer of the gut, get into the bloodstream, and the body says, "Oh no, we're under attack. Batten down the hatches, and it goes into an immune response, which causes inflammation and the sore joints and all of that.
Doesn't it cause sepsis, though? If stuff is
It can. It can. But not usually. Usually there's something else going on. But what you can do to help begin to heal, you can do the gut biome test to help really with the foods for you to eat, is stay low on the food chain. If it's refined, if it's sugar or bread or pasta or anything that's refined, anything that's manufactured, avoid it because it's going to feed the yeast. Stay away from fermented foods. Wine, beer, alcohol, kimchi, sauerkraut, yogurt, vinegar, soy sauce, all that stuff. That'll feed it. If you're going to eat fruit, peel it because there's tons of yeast on the peel of fruit. I don't expect you to peel a blueberry or a grape, but certainly an apple, a peach, a pear, a plum. You want to peel that. And if you have leftovers, Lori, refrigerate them and reheat them. Or not refrigerate, freeze them and reheat them. You can put them in a Ziploc bag. I'm the Ziploc bag queen. Anything can go in a Ziploc bag, freeze it, and reheat it because yeast gets on food in the fridge. Stay away from juices and try and get somebody to do a prescription for nystatin for you. Nystatin. It's an antifungal. So I hope that helps. Thanks for calling. Alrighty, everybody, we're going to take another quick break. Stay with us. You're listening to the Ask Julie Ryan Show, and we'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody. We've got Katie next. Hi, Katie.
Hi, Julie. Thank you so much for taking my call. I'm calling from Fishers, Indiana. We're at -6 degrees. Supposed to be.
Oh, my heavens, girl.
So very cold.
Jeez, Louise. Mm-hmm. Don't you wonder how those Native Americans did that, and also the settlers and the covered wagons? I always think, how did those people do that?
I wouldn't have survived.
Me neither. And then I laugh being in the Deep South. I think of all those Southern belles, with their 15 layers of petticoats and corsets and stuff passing out all the time, which cracks me up too. But, yeah, amazing. Well, welcome. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas. Do you have a question for me?
Merry Christmas. Thank you.
You bet.
Yes. I wanted to know if my Aunt Linda has recently passed, November 6th, and to be exact.
Oh.
I just wondered if you could reach out to her and see if she has a message to my family, something to tell us. My poor uncle is really struggling, and my mom, it's her only sister, and her children. She has 5 kids, so we really miss her.
Heavens. It was very sudden and unexpected, Katie?
Well, she went into the ER October 3rd and just was pretty much whole month there, and then they took her to hospice. So it was unexpected, yes.
Right. That's what she's telling me. She's right next to you. She's on your right. Our heads are big satellite dishes. They receive and transmit frequencies. Every spirit has a frequency they keep throughout all of their lifetimes. So in order to talk with them, all you have to do is think of them. And she immediately comes in. It's like tuning to a radio station. So Aunt Linda, she was saying it was very sudden and unexpected. She's saying everybody's still in shock. She's saying everything's good on my end. How cute is that? Everything's good on her end. She's saying that she's around everybody all the time, but she loves it now because she can be with everybody all at the same time. She was talking about, when you first mentioned her, she was showing me a bottle of champagne. Does that mean anything to you? Do you guys drink champagne, or do you give a toast of champagne? All right. Maybe on New Year's?
No.
Over the holidays?
No.
All right. She's showing me a bottle of champagne. That may mean something to you going forward, but that's what she was showing me. She was showing me, like in the movies, when you uncork a bottle of champagne, the champagne comes out. The cork, sometimes it'll spill over. So she's saying it's a time to celebrate. All right. What do you want them to celebrate? They're all in deep grief. Celebrate that she's in heaven and she's out of the mess is what she's saying. Out of the mess of maybe her medical stuff. I don't know. What is the mess? Was it?
Well, she was in pain for a while. I mean,
okay.
But, and she really, the poor thing, she was in so much pain for October. And she was full of blood clots that I know. But my uncle is really struggling, and they don't know any of her passwords because she paid all the bills online.
Oh, jeez.
And,
oh, jeez. Oh, heavens.
Because we just didn't, but, you know, her daughter Lynn really is, we just are heartbroken. That's probably the hardest loss for all of us. Can she have anything for my mom to say? To my mom, her only sister?
She's saying, carry on the family flag, like the banner, carry on the family flag. So what do you mean by that, Linda? She's saying the traditions, keep the traditions alive, do things that will remind people of past holidays. Are there certain traditions that your family does every year? I think every family has some kind of stuff that they do. That's kind of a tradition. She's talking about that. She's also, have you read my book, Angelic Attendants, yet, Katie?
No, but I'd like to.
All right. If you send me an email, go to AskJulieRyan.com, go to the Ask Julie button, and just say, I'd like a copy of your book. I'm going to I'll have my assistant Rachel send you a free digital and audiobook download. Listen to it, share it with everybody in your family. It will help give them a lot of comfort, I believe. And it will talk about, what's happening and what happened at the end.
It is, I'm surprised that I'm thrilled that she's communicating. We are Catholic, and so it's like, not supposed to reach out or communicate, but I just think, well, no, I miss her so much, and I think I want to hear from her.
Yeah. Okay. So. I got a couple points on that. I'm Catholic too. 12 years, Catholic schools, practicing Catholic, go to Mass, the whole 9 yards. And just FYI, in 2016, Pope Francis came out with a papal bull, which is kind of like a bulletin or a newsletter. And if you request that, I'll send that to you as well. Anybody else listening that wants this, we'll send you the link. And he talked about how he wanted his pastors to welcome psychics and healers because they were doing the work of the Holy Spirit. So that's coming from the Vatican, from the top dog, from the Pope. That's number one.
Oh, well, I'm glad to hear you say that.
Yeah. Number two, my parish gives a copy of my book to every family that comes in to plan a funeral. And my pastor, Father John Fallon, says he has my book on his nightstand next to his bed. It's that important to him. And I have many churches of many denominations, Catholic and others, and synagogues that give my book to everybody that comes in to plan a funeral as well. And then the third thing I want to mention on the Catholic thing is remind everybody that there's a prayer said at the end of every Roman Catholic funeral, and it's called In Paradisum. It talks about how your loved ones and the angels will greet you and lead you into paradise. That's what I see happen. That's what's described in the book with lots of stories. So, yeah. So it's all, I think since the beginning of time, people have been able to see this telepathically. And then as we've gotten more well-educated, we've kind of lost some of that, but everybody can do it. So yeah. Put a note in that email that you send, and we'll send you a link to the papal bull. You'll be in a coma after reading the first page or two because it's just boring as heck. Like, I don't know where they get those lawyers to write that canon law stuff because it's just boring. But if you want to slog through it, you'll see that Pope Francis did that in 2016.
Okay.
All
Well,
right.
you.
I hope the book helps comfort your family.
Thank you. I hope so,
You
too.
bet. Okay. One other thing too, Katie, give a toast to your mom. Maybe that's what the champagne bottle is supposed to
I have
signify.
No idea. Or the flag, or continuing on the celebration. I mean, I know her daughter does not want to feel like celebrating Christmas without her. And,
that's what she wants you to do. She wants you to celebrate and the champagne, make a toast to her. It doesn't have to be with champagne. You can do it with water or apple juice or whatever. It doesn't matter. Just make a toast to her. Say, hey, Aunt Linda, we're thinking of you. We miss you. We wish you were here. She's there in spirit. She'll be with you. Carrying on the family flag is keep traditions going. Keep the holiday together. Do you guys celebrate together?
Sometimes.
Okay.
We did when she was with us. This will be okay. Asked her if she brought the snow for her day of the funeral for her daughter, because it snowed like a blizzard, and her daughter loves. I knew it. I don't even I said, oh, this is for you, or this is from your mom, because her oldest loves the snow. Granted, it's the lake effect snow, but still, they hadn't had snow since that up until now.
She says she has connections. She didn't cause it, but she has connections she's talking about. That's hilarious.
Okay. I thought so. Yeah. I knew it.
That's great. But the other thing, too, is be open to these messages, because when we first hear them, Katie, we think of it in one way, but be open, because oftentimes you'll think of it later and you'll think, oh, that's what she was talking about. And sometimes things haven't happened yet. And you may be open to, where are you going to see a champagne bottle get uncorked and flow over? You might see it in a movie. You might see it in an ad. You might see it at a party. You might see it in a restaurant. Just be open to where that's going to appear. Okay. And be open to how this information is going to come. One other thing that you may want to suggest to everybody is spirits have a really high vibrational level. And when people are grieving, grief is based in fear. It's a low vibration. And so it's hard for spirits to communicate, because they don't talk on the I feel crappy channels, because the vibration's too low. So what you can do is ask her to come to you in a dream. Have her kids and her husband ask her to come to them in a dream. Meet me in your dream. Meet me in my dream.
Okay.
And oftentimes they'll do that, and have them ask it every night. If it doesn't happen right away, keep asking. She's going to show up. They can even be specific about, hey, meet me in my dream in Tahiti or wherever. And she will. And the reason why spirits can communicate in dreams so much easier is because our brains rest and we go back to our default setting, which is spirit, which is a high vibration. So they can tune in to our high vibration and communicate with us in our dreams. And one other thing you want to tell them is, if they have a dream of her and it feels like it's in high def, like really vibrant colors, really sharp senses and stuff like that, that's a visit. That's her coming to visit them versus a regular dream. Okay? So I hope all that helps. And give a toast to her. Thanks for calling.
I will.
All righty, everybody. That's it for this week. I hope you have a wonderful holiday. I am so thrilled to have you in this community, and sending you lots of love from Sweet Home, Alabama. Mwah! Bye, everybody. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays.
Thanks for joining us. Be sure to follow Julie on Instagram and YouTube at Ask Julie Ryan, and like her on Facebook at Ask Julie Ryan. To schedule an appointment or submit a question, please visit AskJulieRyan.com.
This show is for informational purposes only. It is not intended to be medical, psychological, financial, or legal advice. Please contact a licensed professional. The Ask Julie Ryan Show, Julie Ryan and all parties involved in producing, recording, and distributing it assume no responsibility for listeners' actions based on any information heard on this or any Ask Julie Ryan shows or podcasts.